Hello, I'm Ambien. Today we're going to talk about English verb tenses. There are 12 English verb tenses, for past, for present, and for future. Let's have a look at them. Already on the board I have my past, present, and future areas here. We're going to start with the present, and on the left-hand side it says simple, and so this one will be the present simple, and a good example would be I eat. Now, I eat, as the simple present tense, is used when something happens all the time. For example, I eat bananas. I eat them all the time. I'm not talking about eating one yesterday or eating one in the future. I just eat them all the time. So the simple present tense is used for an action that is habitual. It's a habit that you always do. It's also used for things that are the truth, like the sun rises in the east. That would also be a simple present tense. Let's have a look at what that looks like on the timeline. I'll do the timeline in green here. 0 is now, and the right-hand side with the arrow is the future. I eat would be all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Even today, all the time. Probably tomorrow, probably the next day. So I eat, on and on and on. The next tense is the past simple tense. Past simple, and a good example of that would be I ate. I'm going to use the same verb throughout so you can see the comparison between the verbs. I ate. I ate on the timeline. It looks like this. There's present, there's future. I ate is a single time in the past. A single time only happens once. You can also put the time that it happened. Yesterday, I ate a banana. The next tense, all the way over here, is the simple future tense. An example would be, I will eat. This on the timeline looks like past, present, future. Of course it's over here. It's a single X on the line. It's going to happen at some time in the future. I will eat a banana tomorrow. So to review, if you do eat a banana all the time, you say, I eat bananas. If you did it yesterday, you say, I ate a banana yesterday. And if you're going to eat one tomorrow, you say, I will eat a banana tomorrow. The fourth English verb tense is the present continuous. I am eating. I-N-G. I am eating. On the timeline, that looks like this. Past, present, future. I am eating is right now. It's happening as I am talking right now in this moment. I am eating a banana. Well, of course, that's not true. I don't have a banana with me. But if I did, I could say, I am eating a banana. Now, the interesting thing about this verb tense is it can also be used for a future idea. Let me get my, why don't I just use red here? It can also be used for the future. So I'm going to draw an arrow from there to here. For example, if I say tomorrow, I can also say I am eating a banana. Tomorrow I am eating a banana. So I can say I will eat a banana. I can also say I am eating a banana if the listener knows that I'm talking about the future. So I have to say something like, tomorrow I am eating a banana. The next verb tense is the past continuous. And the past continuous example would be, I was eating. E-A-T-I-N-G. I was eating. On the timeline, that looks like this. Past, present, future. I was eating starts at a time in the past, and it continues and continues and continues until sometime when another action happens. So that second action is actually going to be in the simple past. Simple past. But this first action is going to be the past continuous. So, for example, you would say, I was eating a banana when the telephone rang. The telephone rang would be simple past. That's the action at the end of this longer action. And I was eating a banana, that's the longer action. Over here on the right, we have the future continuous. This looks like I will be eating. E-A-T. Let's do that again. E-A-T-I-N-G. I will be eating. On the timeline, it looks like this. Past, present, future. You started eating at some time in the future and you continue to eat it until some other action happened. That second action is not going to be in the present tense, it's going to be in the simple, not in the future rather, it's going to be in the simple present tense. Simple present. Let me give you an example. I will be eating a banana when you arrive. You arrive, simple present tense. I will be eating a banana. That started before you arrived. It continues until you arrive. It may also continue after you arrive, but I don't care about that. I just care about this thing here, which is you arrive, and that kind of stops the action on the end. So it's a continuous action in the future. The third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh verb tense is present perfect. Now, this is a tense that most students have trouble with, so I'm going to go slowly and show you the present perfect, how it works. First of all, it looks like this. I have eaten, E-A-T-E-N. Notice there's no ing on this one. We have an en on the end. This is called the past participle. Past participles are often irregular, and the only way you can learn these is just to memorize them one at a time. So I have eaten, I have drunk, I have seen, I have been for the verb be. You just have to memorize these things, and there's no easy way around that. You just have to work, study, learn these words. What does it look like on the timeline? It looks like present, there's future. It's an action that happened in the past, so it looks very much like the past simple. However, with the present perfect, there is no time around this action. So I'm going to say time, T-I-M-E, is a question. Over here, I can say yesterday I ate. And if you do say the time, you use the simple past. If you don't say the time, it just means it's part of your life experience. You've had that experience before. You're not saying when you did it, but you're saying that you did it sometime in the past, maybe often. I have eaten bananas many times. So, that's a single X on the timeline, but however, it can also be a second way to look at the present perfect. It can be more than one time. It can be 1, 2, 3. I'll put those two close together. It could be 3 times. Again, you don't know when each time happened, but you may know the number of times. 1, 2, 3. So you know it happened 3 times. Anytime you have a number or you have a word that is like a number, a word like many, a few, several, all of those are kind of like number words. When you have a number word, you also use the present perfect. I have eaten a banana 3 times in my lifetime. That's not true because I love bananas, but you get the idea. The third, I'm going to move this line down a little bit because I have to do a third one here. The third way use of the present perfect is when you start the action sometime in the past and you continue until now. So a good idea, well, I don't continuously eat a banana, so I'm going to change examples here. If I say, I have lived in Vancouver for 10 years. I started living 10 years ago, started living here 10 years ago. I've continued to live here, and today I still live here, so I would say, I have lived in Vancouver for 10 years. You often find the word for, and for is how long this action is. And you can also find the word since. Since is the beginning of this time. You could say, I have lived in Vancouver since 2005. And that would be the same thing. Since the beginning time, for the length of time that you have done this action. The next verb tense is the past perfect. And as you might expect, the present perfect has have, so the past perfect is going to have had. I had eaten. I had eaten. When is this used? Well, it's used on the timeline like this. Present and future. It's when two actions happen, and you want to tell the listener or the reader that this action happened before this action. So the past perfect is used for the first action, and the second action is the simple past. Let me give you some examples. Simple past. I had eaten a banana before you arrived. So you arrived is here, simple past. Before that, I had eaten a banana. Here's another example. She had gone to bed before I got home. Another one. I had finished my homework before I went to bed. So see all of those? Past perfect used for the first action, simple past used for the following action, the second action. So that is the past perfect. On the right side here, we have the future perfect. The future perfect is used, well, to give an example first. I will have eaten. I will have eaten. On the timeline, it looks like this. I'll make the present over here. Nice big long future. So, I will have eaten is when two actions happen in the future. I will have eaten will be the first action. The second action will be simple present tense again. Simple present. Just like up here. I will have eaten. Let me give you some examples. I will have eaten a banana by the time you arrive. So this will be finished and then you arrive. Two actions in the future. You want to tell the listener or the reader that this action happened first and it was finished before this action happened. Okay, another example. I will have gone to bed by the time you get home. Another good example. So that is the future perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 verb tenses. Let's look at verb tense. Verb number 10. I need to draw my line back here because we don't want to get confused. I'll just make this line a little bit lower. There we are. Now we have a space for everything. So this one is the present perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous combines this one, which is the present continuous, with the present perfect, and then you get the present perfect continuous. So it looks like I have been, E-E-N, I have been eating. Now you've noticed something interesting here. All of the continuous tenses, so this line here and the line down here, are all going to have ing verbs on them. Continuous means ing. And anytime you see an ing in English, it means the action is not finished yet. It's ongoing, it's continuous. I have been eating is very much like this third, I should label these here, this third, I'm going to go back here and say this was A, this is B, and this is C, because the present perfect has 3 uses. This looks like C. I have been eating, so here's the timeline, here's present, here's future. I have been eating, so starting in the past, continuing, 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 until now. So you say, well, if this looks exactly like this, do I have a choice to use this one or this one when I have this idea? The answer is yes. You can say, I have lived in Vancouver since 2005. You can also say, I have been living in Vancouver since 2005. Now, Ambien's rule number 1 is, if you have a choice between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous, use this one. Use the present perfect continuous because to the English ear, it sounds better because it has the ing and the listener knows that you're not finished yet. It's still true. So I have been living in Vancouver since 2005. The listener knows that you are going to continue to live here, and you are today. I have been eating. I have been eating bananas all my life. There's a good example with bananas. Past perfect continuous, the second to the last verb tense that we have, looks like this. So we have had. I'm going to continue with the had. I had been eating. I had been eating. I had been eating is used on the timeline here. There we are, present and future. I had been eating, so it starts right here. I had been eating, that's continuing here. I had been eating until something else happens in the past. Now you will notice that the past continuous and the present and the past perfect continuous look exactly the same here. I had been eating. I had been eating a banana when he came into the room. I had been eating a banana when he came into the room. I was eating a banana when he came into the room. I had been eating a banana when he came into the room. There's really no difference between the two. Most English speakers prefer to use the past continuous and not the past perfect continuous. As a matter of fact, this verb tense is not very often used in English, so you don't even have to learn it, because the truth is most English speakers don't use this verb tense at all. I had been eating. But that's what it looks like. Had been eating is the first action right there. The second action would be the simple past. Simple past. On to the very last verb tense we have, and it is the future perfect continuous. It looks like this. I will have been eating. I will have been eating. Just like the past perfect continuous, the future perfect continuous is not very often used in English. So you can forget about this. Not even English speakers use this very often. They'll use it for some future time. They'll say, for example, well, let me see, I've been living in Vancouver for 9.5 years, so in 6 months, I will have been living in Vancouver for 1 year. So they use it for a future time that is an important time, like a year anniversary. I will have been living in Vancouver for 1 year, but now it's only 9 months. Okay? Will have been eating. I will have been eating looks like this on the timeline. There's present, there's future, make the future nice and big. I will have been eating. So it is, an action that starts, it could start even now, but I'm going to say it starts in the future and it continues to some time in the future. This X on the line is more often a time rather than an action. So I will have been eating a banana for 5 minutes when you get here. That's a terrible example. I will have been living in Vancouver for 10 years by June 2016. Okay, so see how that works? There's a future time, that's the X on the line. I started living in Vancouver a while ago, or yeah, this could even be in the past. So you don't really know when this action starts, but you do know that it has an ending here in the future. Okay, so those are all 12 verb tenses in English. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you learned a lot. Bye for now.